Welcome to clone method of java.lang.object class. In this video, we will see what is clone method, what is the method signature of the clone method, and what is cloneable interface, and the difference between shallow copy and deep copy. This clone method is used to create the copy of a given object. This clone method of object class is of type protected, and this throws the clone not supported exception if an object is not eligible for clonable. Not all the objects in Java are clonable. In order to make an object clonable, that class of the object should implement the clonable interface. This clonable interface is marker interface. That means it will not have any fields and methods in it. Let us see the programmatically. For this purpose, I have created a class method demo, and we have created address object and employee object. Address AD is equals to new address of I am giving these details, and for the employee new employee of one Mohammedaram email mobile number, and we are using this address. Let us try to clone the employee object here. Employee E1 is equals to E1 E dot clone. This clone method is of type checked type. Before that, let us convert it into the employee. This clone method is of type checked exception. That is the reason we have to add throws to the method signature, or we have to keep this statement in between try and catch blocks. Let us try to print the address ad1 is equals to e1 dot get address, and let us print this one ad1. When you run this program, it is giving clone not supported exception of type of core.employee. So when we are trying to clone any object, that class should implement the clonable interface in Java. So here it is not implementing clonable, so let us implement and see. And similarly we can implement in the address class also. Let us run the same program and see. Now we are able to clone the actual object. If you see actual object AD, Madibal AD address AD, we are able to see Madibala PTM Bangalore Karnataka India 560068. The cloned object also we are getting the same details. Now let us try to do some operations in the cloned object, like ad1 dot set address line. We will update to address line 1 test. Let us update like this, and let us print here. Let us print the actual object ad. If you see this actual object, we are printing here line number 14. We are trying to print the actual object, but here we are doing some operations on the cloned object. The changes are reflected in the original object also. That means if you do any changes to the cloned object, that will be affected in the original object, or vice versa. This is the default behavior of the clone method in the object class. This type of cloning we can say as a shallow copy. This is not recommended way. For example, if you are using any complex applications, or if you are using in that time, if you are doing this type of cloning, there will be lot of data inconsistency will be there. To avoid that, we have to override the clone method. That time the actual object and the cloned object will be disjoint completely. To do that, we have to override the clone method inside the employee class. Let us override this one and see. Employee E is equals to super dot clone. This super dot clone returns of type object, so we have to convert into employee. And the next statement, E dot address is equals to address dot clone. Here this one also returns the object, so we have to convert into address. Let us return this object. These two statements help us to achieve the another type of cloning. That means that type of cloning we can say as deep copy or deep clone. Let us run the same program and see. In the same example, we are cloning this employee and address objects, and we are performing on the cloned object, and we are printing the actual object. So the actual object and cloned, if you perform any operations on the cloned object, it is not affected the actual object. This type of clone is called as deep clone. Let us summarize so far what we have discussed. Shallow copy and deep copy. Any changes made to clone object will be reflected in original object or vice versa. That type of clone is called as shallow copy. Any changes made to the cloned object will not be reflected in original object, that is called as deep copy. The default version of clone method creates the shallow copy of an object. To create a deep copy of an object, we have to override the clone method inside the respected class. This shallow copy is preferred if object has only primitive fields. This deep copy is preferred if an object has references to the other objects as fields. This is all about this video. Hope you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching.